Hey everyone, it's Johnny. You must be shocked. We're back 2 days in a row with podcast episode number 89, titled The Meeting That Should Have Been an Email. I cannot tell you how true this is, especially I feel working in Japan as I did for colleges, schools, and whatnot before I started my own school. We would have mostly meaningless meetings. Meetings that offered about a zero result, but just have a meeting to have a meeting. Everything could have been done in an email. Anyway, so I thought this would be an interesting topic. The meeting that should have been an email. Here we go. Have you ever sat through a meeting and realized that nobody was making a decision? Oh yes, many times. Almost all of them. 99.999% of them. Today, we're looking at 5 advanced workplace expressions. Get bogged down, go off on a tangent, labor the point, cut to the chase, and reach a consensus. Let's start. Last week, I attended a meeting that was scheduled for 30 minutes. The objective seemed straightforward. We needed approval for a minor update to a client proposal. Everyone had already reviewed the document beforehand, so I assumed we would discuss a few details, make a decision, and move on. Unfortunately, that's not what happened. The meeting began with a brief overview of the proposal. Within minutes, however, one participant raised a question that wasn't directly related to the topic. Oh God. Another person responded, and before long, the discussion had gone off on a tangent. Instead of focusing on the proposal, we found ourselves talking about a completely different project from 6 months ago. After 20 minutes, we still hadn't addressed the issue that brought us together in the first place. At that point, the conversation started to get bogged down in details. People were debating small points that had little impact on the final decision. Every answer seemed to create 3 new questions. The more we talked, the less progress we made. What made matters worse was that a few people continued to labor the point. They kept repeating arguments that everyone had already understood. Nobody was disagreeing, yet the same opinions were being expressed again and again. I looked around the room and noticed several people checking emails under the table. Finally, one of the senior managers spoke up. "Can we cut to the chase?" he asked. The room went quiet. He summarized the issue in less than a minute and proposed a solution. To everyone's surprise, nobody objected. In fact, we quickly reached a consensus. The proposal was approved, the meeting ended, and people immediately headed for the door. As I walked back to my desk, I couldn't help laughing. An hour had been spent discussing something that ultimately required only 5 minutes to resolve. That's when I had the same thought everyone else was probably having. The meeting should have been an email. All right, I only do one take. You might hear me having to repeat a sentence. That's just human. We all make mistakes, and this is a prepared script, so I'm not speaking off the top of my head. So no, let me do that again from the beginning. No take 2. What you hear is what you get. Pure, raw, Johnny. All right, let's review today's expressions. Get bogged down is an excellent expression. It means to become stuck, in unnecessary details. Every time we talk about that topic, we get bogged down in the same spot. Labor the point to continue explaining something after it is already understood. Why are you belaboring this? We got it. It's already clear. Cut to the chase, as in cinema. Cut to the final scene, the chase scene where the police is chasing the robber or the killer. The most important scene where Jack Bauer, in about 2 more minutes, will have the terrorist under arrest. To get directly to the most important point or the most important. And reach a consensus is to achieve general agreement within a group. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached consensus. See you on Monday. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. I always appreciate it. Again, we are on TikTok at Exploring English, and we are on wonderful YouTube at English 360. Have a good day. Thank you.